That's a good ball for with Peter Weir. Now Aberdeen with McGee making the break and Hewitt waiting in the middle. Hewitt!
Countdown to Kickoff is brought to you and supported by Saltire Energy, the global market leader in specialist drilling equipment rental. And if you have plans to visit the Energy Exchange Australia next week, make sure you visit Craig International on stand Q8, where Steve Gibson, Cheryl Fernandez and VJ Krishnan will be there to answer all your questions. We're back again at Pittodrie tomorrow for a Scottish Cup quarter-final tie against giant killers Queen's Park. Kick-off at the Grand Old Stadium is at 12:30. Expecting a bumper crowd tomorrow as well. Hi everybody, how you doing? A very warm welcome this Friday night to Ali Beg AB TV. This is Countdown to Kickoff, and this is where we look ahead to the big game against Queen's Park tomorrow. So get in touch, tell us how you're feeling. Tell us your team news. I'm going to predict the team news in just a moment. Tell me what sort of team you would like to see tomorrow. And how do you see the game going? For me, what an opportunity to get to Hampden. We will not get a better opportunity to get to Hampden for another semi-final where we can contest. So, yeah. And let's be honest. If we can replicate the final 20 minutes of last week's game against Dundee United over a 90-minute period, we shouldn't have any issues, surely. What I'm looking for tomorrow, and I really hope you're all in agreement here, this is very simple. We need to do so much better with crosses coming into our box. If you watched the review show with Andrew Budge and I, we spoke about that very thing at length. We have to stop crosses coming into our box, and we have to do so much better. Do that tomorrow, start tomorrow, we should be okay. So the usual housekeeping tonight, got the predicted team lines for you. We'll hear from Yimi Tulane. Got a couple of quotes from Callum Davidson as well, the Queen's Park manager. Got some stats for you, match stats, and some other bits and pieces. So, yeah, sit back, relax, and let's see how we get on tonight. So, let's begin by predicting the team news. Here we go, tin hat on as always. In goal. No change. Dimitar Mitov will stay in goal for me. Then across the back four, I'm changing it up. So Alexander Jensen, right back. Kersters and Mats to hopefully start alongside Graham Shinney, who is set to make his 600th senior appearance. Ante and Sivert Nielsen just in front. That's my three in midfield. Shaden on the right, Uday in the number 10 role, Toppy on the right with Kevin Nisbet to be the lone striker. I think after Shaden came on last week, he deserves his starting position. And I also felt that with Shinney, with Shinza, I just thought, for me, he helped turn the game when he came on and played at left back. Here's your stats. So this will be the 9th meeting between the two sides in the Scottish Cup, with the Dons unbeaten throughout against Queen's Park. Since knocking Rangers out of the competition, Queen's Park have recorded 1 win, 1 draw and 2 defeats in the 4 games since. As I've just mentioned, Aberdeen skipper Graham Shinney is set to make his 600th senior appearance if he starts and if he comes on against Queen's Park. Your man in the middle is David Dickinson. On VAR is Greg Aiken. Here are the thoughts of the manager. The video comes courtesy of the football club.
I think every game is a new game, but it was really impressive them. We have played them before. I think we won in the more or less the last shot of the game. And cup games. It's always intense. It's always small margins. We have to be really sharp. We have to be ready. I feel we are all ready. We are playing at home at Pittodrie again with our supporters. We have a really strong second half last game, and I think we're improving every week now, and looking forward to the game. But they have done really well. They are a good team, and a good manager, and let's be ready for that.
So that's the thoughts of Jimmy Tillene. Here are the thoughts of Callum Davidson. So it's a really special run for Queen's Park. Sometimes you like to believe, don't you? You like to dream. You do think about it. I'd be lying if you'd say you don't think about these things. That's why you're in the game. We've knocked out one of the favourites. Now we're playing another one of the favourites. It comes down to the game. We've just got to make sure we perform. If we don't perform well, we don't win. I accept that. And he finishes off by saying, I just want the boys to be brave and have a go. Which I'd be surprised if they didn't. Right, just let me get my bins. There we go. Right, so I can get you guys on and see how we're all doing. So, Gordon Keith Ritchie came on first of all and says, good evening, tomorrow won't be easy. We have to field our strongest team. Let's go for it, and when the game is safe, rest a few. Queen's Park have nothing to lose, so come on, let's get this done, Reds. Gavin Wilson says, did you know that our first game against Queen's Park was in the league 1905-06 where we drew 2-2 at home. Goals from Ward and Lenny in front of 8,000 people. Thank you for that, Gavin. Little trip down memory lane. Love a bit of that. Colin Gale says, it looks like Dorrington will be playing tomorrow as Tobas is not ready. The young lad will do well. I was impressed with him against Dundee United. Hopefully, a positive start tomorrow. So yeah, let's see what happens tomorrow in terms of Tobas being fit or not. But you're quite right. I think if he misses out, Alfie will definitely go in. Paul Hannon is on. Good evening, Ali and fellow dandies. Queens gave us a game in the League Cup earlier this season. I think tomorrow will be no different unless we get an early goal. Colin came back to say, I think Shaden deserves to start, but I feel Yimmy will want Urkels to play to give him as many games to prove himself and convince the club to splash the cash on him. Richard Mickey McMillan is here saying, having a few beers this evening. Come on, you Reds. Enjoy your weekend, guys, he says. Paul Hannon came back in terms of the team. He said, this is a good game to start Morris, Clarkson and Uday from the start. Would not be surprised if Doohan starts in goal either. Stuart Cleary says, good evening, Ali and all dandies. Going with a 3-0 win and another semi-final. Come on, you Reds. Neil Mazon wishing everybody a good evening. Matthew Cool is here as well. I would like Shady Moore to get another start tomorrow. And he's predicting a 3-0 win for the Dons. Kirsten is here. How are we doing, Kirsten? She says, good evening, Ali and fellow dandies. Looking forward to the game tomorrow. Let's hope the team starts the game in the same way they played in the second half against United, and we will win. Neil Strachan says, good evening, Ali. I think the score tomorrow will be 3-0 to us, with Shady Moore scoring 2 in the second half and Keskinen scoring in the first half. Come on, you Dons. Make us happy, he says. Musical Box is on, wishing you all a good evening, as is Norman Baker. He says, important that Queen's Park don't get the first goal, or they will defend deep, as they did effectively at Ibrox. Dan Cole says, hi Ali, got tickets for the Miller McLeish night, looking forward to it. Thanks, Dan. I'll give you a wee gentle reminder of that a little bit later. Thanks for your support, fella. Paul Donaldson says, good evening, dandies. Not going to tempt fate by making a prediction. Don't care how we do it, as long as we get through to the semi-finals. Roddy Keenan is here, wishing everybody a good evening, as is Robin the Bold. He says, looks like plenty of seats available for tomorrow's game. David Goldralli Vids has also wished you all a very good evening. Sheep on Fire says, we've got to have Morris on from the start, and for the love of God, get legs in midfield. What a chance we have to get back to Hampden. Barry Cole says, good evening, dandies. Looking forward to tomorrow. Breakfast at the Beech Tree Cafe. Myself, daughter, stepdaughter, and daughter's boyfriend all going. Sander Morris says, come on, you Reds. We'll be in the shed tomorrow. Hopefully we can get a go at them from the start and show what we can really do. John Grant's here. Hi, John. He says, we need to be at them from the off and more decisive in the final third. Hope Yimmy has Shinnie, De Bag and Morris in for Mackenzie, Pappy and Urkels. DM says, we need our game head on tomorrow. Would like to see our strongest team get the job done in the first half. Can't be bothered says, like to see Fletcher Boyd get some minutes tomorrow. Fred McKenzie's on, wishing you all a good evening, as is David Horn. Paul Donaldson came back to say, hope we play Topi Keskinen on the left. He always does better there. Lee Taylor says, I want to see a stronger, tougher, faster Aberdeen team. Some passion, and let's see some quality. Show us why you deserve to wear our shirt. Alexander Wallace says, good evening, Dandies. Can we start with the team that finished the game last week, win it in the first half, and save our fingernails? Deck G says, good evening, Ali, and to all fellow Dandies. I'm really hoping for a better start to the game tomorrow. I saw the highlights from the Ayr United game. Queen's Park don't look too clever at times. They look a tired team. So I'll come back to your comments in just a moment. But I do want to just very gently remind you that if you are going to the game tomorrow, it'd be fantastic if you could pick up a copy of Red Matchday. The cover pays respects and remembers graphic designer Donald Addison, who was responsible for designing the original AFC badge, as well as the Matchday programme covers in the 60s and 70s. Sadly, Donald passed away a few days ago, and his funeral was today. So sending love and best wishes and regards to all of David's family. And I beg your pardon, to Donald's family and to his son David as well. An iconic badge, my favourite AFC badge, and I'm sure you'll all agree, it's sensational. It just epitomises everything about the football club for me. Right, let's get back to your comments. Musical Box said, we'd like to see Dante get some minutes tomorrow. Sugarland said, let's hope we turn up. Last cup game, we were really in control, but only one slip from going out. Toppy scored in the last minute. I know we've got to be careful tomorrow. John Bleasdale's on. Hi, John. How are you, fella? He says, let's try to see a more complete performance tomorrow rather than relying on playing in stages. Queens will make it difficult, but we have the quality to break them down. Rob Clark's on. How are we doing, Rob? You all right? He says, do I have any insight for tomorrow's match programme? Just hopeful with his connections to both teams, there might be an article about my namesake, Bobby Clark. Do you know what? Let me have a quick look, because I did see something about the programme. Hang on a second, Rob. Stay right there, because I did see something about that. Where are we? Let's get the news up. Because I did see something about what was going to be inside the programme. So bear with me just while I get it up. And typically it's taking forever, the AFC website. Right, we'll let that load and we'll come back to it in just a moment. There we go. Right, so. Okay, Scottish Cup quarterfinal programme. Let's have a wee look. So. There we go, Rob. Kevin Sterling, former club historian, great guy. Caught up with Bobby Clark ahead of the game. Bobby looks back on his early days with the Glasgow side and his Scottish Cup memories with the Dons. There's some fantastic pictures of Bobby in there as well. Brian Irvin is also in the programme. And there's a special article with Sivert Nielsen as well. So there you go. Hope that's answered your question, Rob. Right, let me get back to where you were. Okay, so Graham Gibbs says, I beg your pardon. Neom709 is just reminding you all to hit the old like button. That would be great if you wouldn't mind. Paul Donaldson says, Queen's Park keeper is really good. He had the game of his life against Sevco. He had a few good saves against us early in the season too. Yeah, he's a very good goalkeeper. Absolutely. Some of his saves are sensational. Absolutely sensational. Paul Hannon says, my nephew Scott is going to the game tomorrow. He's not seen Aberdeen lose yet if this continues. Yimmy will need to have him in the dugout as a lucky mascot. Musical Box says, I hate early kickoffs. Says it's going to be 7:30 a.m. my time. Yep. The under-18s beat Queen's Park 3-2 today at Cormack Park. Thanks for posting that, George Rutherford. Thank you, fella. Andy B says, the team that finished the game against United, I wonder how they would have coped in the first half against a pressing opposition. Dominance second half was certainly helped by Jim Goodwin. David Naylor says, start Fletcher Boyd. Lee Taylor says, he says, put in a like to this vid again, Ali. Just like to thank you for all your hard work and consistency, keeping everyone invested in our team. Thank you, Lee. Mate, no need to thank me. Trust me, I'm loving it just as much as you guys. Okay, a couple of little sort of housekeeping things for you. So don't forget, give the wee show a like if you've enjoyed it tonight. Thank you for all your comments. Keep them coming in. We've got a few minutes still to go on the show. And as I keep saying, please don't forget to subscribe. We're over 4,200 now. You need to actually be an active YouTuber. And what I mean by that is you have to have an actual YouTube log in to be able to subscribe to a channel. Because a few folk have actually come to me and said they've had issues with it. And they've actually had issues joining in on the chat as well. So you have to have an actual login to YouTube. Then you can subscribe to channels and you can join in the chat as well. Don't forget, it doesn't cost you anything. It's just a means of support. It's like following a Facebook page or, you know, following somebody on X. That's what it's about. So there's no fees involved in it at all unless you decide to sign up to the membership scheme. Talking of which, I would like to thank a chap called Stefan who did just that a few days ago. So Stefan, thank you so much for signing up to the membership scheme here on Ali Beg AB TV. Your contribution will go back into this channel as we keep pressing forward. Talking about the Alex McLeish and Willie Miller night. It's not long now. Over 250 tickets sold at the Ardor House Hotel at the end of this month, Friday the 28th of March. The longest 40, supporting Beats in Cancer charity. That's where you can get your tickets, or at Eventbrite. It's quite simple format. If you don't know anything about it, this is how it works. So myself and the lads will be up on a stage. It's a seated area. So it's a question and answer session. I'll come on stage, introduce the boys, have a wee chat. Then we'll go off for a break. During the break, there's a bit of an auction. You get a chance to also ask your questions. So you'll get a wee slip of paper, write down your question. We'll then go backstage during the break. We'll vet all the questions, and then I'll start asking the questions out on your behalf. There's a bar there, all that kind of stuff. So if it's anything to go like what the Ian Jess gig was like, we're going to be in for an absolutely phenomenal evening. So if you haven't got your tickets yet, I strongly suggest that you jump in and come along and let's have a really, really good laugh with the two legends of our football club. Sugarland is asking me, so hey Ali, is the trainee reporter idea still in the works? Yeah, so unfortunately, it is, mate, but it's such a frustrating process for me because I approached one outlet who unfortunately let me down at the last minute, and then I approached another means of trying to find a trainee reporter who loved the idea and promised that they would come back to me and wanted to set it all up, and they never did. So unfortunately, there was absolutely nothing I could do about it. That's my wee boy calling because we're going for pizza in a few minutes. So look, it's still there. I still want to do it. If any of you actually know of anybody who is a trainee reporter, who is studying broadcast journalism in and around the Aberdeenshire area, and they would like to get some valuable experience, please point them my way, because I would like to think that I can actually offer them some valuable experience to learn an awful lot more about the DNA of how broadcasting works. And to be honest with you, it doesn't matter whether you're working for Sky Sports, the BBC, ITV, Premier Sports, or you're doing a gentle role with me, the DNA is exactly the same. So if you do know of anybody, please feel free to put them in touch And yeah, let's see if we can make something work, because I absolutely want to give something back. Sheep on Fire says he's going for a 3-0 win for the Dons and hoping that Celtic get beat on Sunday. Lee Taylor says, can also only use the chat on the YouTube app if you're using your phone, not accessible on Google or Safari. Colin Gale says, subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost anything, although you can take out a channel membership like I did and support ABTV. It's well worth it. Colin, you're a top man. Thank you so much. Right, guys, we are just about done. So, at this juncture, as always, we like to wish the boys the very best of luck tomorrow. Let's get the job done. Let's get it done early doors. Let's not let them settle. Let's play longer spells of the game, having good spells, as John Bleasdale mentioned. Let's try and replicate this over a longer periods, eh? Do that, and I think we'll be just fine. If you're going to the game, safe travels, have a fantastic time, and I'll see you all again on Sunday night for the review show. Andrew Budge will be here to analyse the game as well. So enjoy your Friday night, enjoy your Saturday, and come on you Reds, and we'll see you all on Sunday. Bye for now, stand free.